to cooperate, and this is the message that I want to send you out today. It's important that we cooperate within the region, and that's why our mission statement, for instance, from Games Austria is, hey, yeah. Is this plugged in? No, it's to advance the games industry, not just in Austria, but in Central Europe. So this is Games Austria, and those are our events. Just generally summarized, we do have, for instance, a GDC scholarship program where we send people from individuals from Central Europe to GDC. Which is the Game Developers Conference, the biggest conference actually, the biggest game developers conference on the globe, where 26,000 developers or professionals in the games industry and aspiring game developers gather in San Francisco for 1 time in a year in San Francisco for the Game Developers Conference. And we have a cooperation with them going on. So we have a GDC scholarship program. Also we have like several other things. We throw a lot of events, game jams, and do a lot of promoting and lobbying. But our biggest project is the Central European Games Conference. This is where we invite the Central European game developers, aspiring game developers as well, and everyone who is a games industry professional to Vienna for the Central European Games Conference. Happening again this February, coming up February in 2016. And our plan is, because that's why you see all those cities marked pointing to Vienna, because we're sending buses to those cities and picking them up to come to Vienna to lower the barrier. Within Central Europe, we are so diverse, but most of our people in the industry, they do not travel a lot. Laura mentioned that today as well. Go to conferences, go to events, connect with your community. And this is how we lower the barriers so everyone can join us. Our topic this year is diversity, but I think I will come to that later again. Yeah, we have a lot of supporters and partners, but let's get to the point. So Central Europe, especially our countries, we started like from almost nothing to what we are now, and I hope we're like so fast that we can create an awesome games industry sector. Just look at Slovenia. You didn't have the first event like even half a year ago. You had the very first one at the very first Game Dev meetup that Shirotome and Shiga organized. When was that? Half a year ago? And 140 people came together? How did you connect it? How did you share your ideas and inspirations before that? Okay, a forum. I know you have a forum, but within that last 6 months, you actually evolved a lot. You had a lot of events, drink-ups and meetups, and now we have the association, Games Slovenia, the association who tries to advance the industry, and now throws a conference. This is amazing. You're like on such fast pace. You actually, if you keep on this pace, but the community has to support, of course, the association to keep on going. And if you keep up this pace, you actually could advance your sector very, very fast. What we have figured out, because throughout the time that we are working with industry and with influencers and all the stakeholders in the industry, we figured out the sharing culture is the most important thing. You have to create a sharing culture. You have to share your ideas and inspirations. You have to talk to others and share everything you have, and also create the next generation with that. You have to have the second thing, the second pillar that is super important is you have to get organized. You're doing this right now with Games Slovenia. You're getting more and more organized, you're having more and more events, and you need to do lobbying, which is super important. Otherwise, you're doing your stuff and no one sees that. You have to create this visibility and awareness as well. This only works also with your talent and professionalism, and we come to that later as well. So those are the 3 points that I want to go through in that presentation. But before you go into the games industry, you need an overview about the games market in total. Not just in Europe, of course, Central Europe as well, but in total. Did you know that the games market is actually the biggest entertainment industry? We, in the games market, we actually overrule the film and the music industry, and big AAA games make much more revenue within the first 2 weeks than, for instance, a Titanic in its lifetime. We have here some numbers. Newsway and DG Capital are two analysts, statistical companies who kick out the numbers every now and then, and they say the games market, the global games market in 2015 is $91 billion big. Wow, this is amazing. Here, general overview about the countries and where our Central European countries are placed, and compared to the top game markets. Of course, yes, and China, but then the number one in Europe is actually Germany and UK and France, and we will get to that as well. But those numbers are super interesting. Those numbers are numbers coming from Yuzu and all the other companies who provide those statistics and numbers. Let's have a look at Germany. I want to take up Germany because Germany is the biggest game market in Europe, and also Germany is the biggest game market in Europe, and also we can compare Germany. If we put together all the Central European countries, our Central European countries, we come to a close picture like Germany. Germany has 80 million of population, 10,000 people work in the games industry, and 320 companies. Sounds amazing already. It's number one market. Wow, yay. 3.6 billion in 2014 in US dollars. The French market is actually closely after Germany. It's totally similar and has also 10,000 people working in the games industry. And France has the big players, yes. Similar turnover as well. And if we compare this now with Central Europe, our countries, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Austria, Hungary, Slovenia and Croatia, and also Romania, we come to a similar population size. We have like almost 100 million, and we don't even reach that total revenue number. But this also is because our game markets are new and younger, and also we are less organized. That's why those three pillars are super important. We need to create the awareness and visibility for our region. We have to have the talent and the professionalism, and we have to work on this. We have potential, and I will come to this even more. Just last year, if you compare our countries, our region just from last year to now, we got organized in such a short time. We are super fast, but we have to keep going, and only last year there were 3 associations in Central Europe. Now there are even in all countries associations, and every country is getting organized with events and also lobbying and promoting the industry. Let's have a closer look Central Europe versus Germany. I think I don't have to say anything to that one. It's clear, and we can create that number as well. But we also have to think about what what average monthly salary is in Central Europe, which is in some parts of Europe or Central Europe, it's not even a quarter of what Germany gets as a monthly salary. Austria might not be so interesting right now, but it's just statistics and numbers. Let's go to Slovenia right away. This is data from Slovenia, and also from Yuzu And all in all, you can do so much more. Do I have to say something more to this? But here, one more important thing. We also checked actually the English as a foreign language within all the Central European countries, and we figured out that especially in Central Europe, because games is an international industry, the games industry is international and global, you actually should speak English. Everyone should speak English. And we encounter this a lot in Central Europe, that many people in the games industry are not so fluent in English. It's officially, what does it say? Officially it's 56%, but how do you promote and market your game if you are not fluent in English? So this is probably a barrier as well that the educational system has to work on, but how do you do this? You have to lobby on that side, so they actually change and change that. Similar to Croatia. But since I have only like 2 minutes left, I will actually skip that. Sorry, Croatia. Let's have a quick overview here with the monthly salaries. Slovenia with half of what actually Austria gets, but look at Hungary and Poland. This is Central Europe. Do I have to say more? And this is why actually so many companies also come to Central Europe, set up the office in, for instance, in Romania and in other Central European countries, because the workforce is cheaper, and therefore our revenue numbers also, or the entire global the market size of the country is smaller. Of course, if you get like 2,000 euros or 2,000 plus euros in Germany, if you have to pay an employee in Germany like several times as much as in Central Europe, of course I will come to Central Europe as well. But not just, this is probably one advantage our games industry has in Central Europe. It has a cheaper workforce. This attracts the bigger companies, but Central Europe has even more advantages, like the diversity. We get to that as well. The comparison between women and men. The slides are online. Since I don't have so much time anymore, I will actually skip that and go to, you can check the numbers and the slides online afterwards and have a closer look on those data. We were here. Now let's talk about not just the market and the industry itself. Let's talk about talent and professionalism. Especially in our games industry, it is important to not just have the talent, but also the professionalism. So who in this audience feels like an entrepreneur? Oh, wow, okay. You guys make out like probably 1% in this audience. Nevertheless, an entrepreneur is someone who creates his own venture. To get into this, I have this information from Jason Dalla Rocca. So to get into this, our entrepreneurs start mostly as indies. So an indie, a game dev indie defines usually with having the creative and legal independency. Meaning you are creative independent means you can create your own IP, you can create your own game, you can create whatever you want. You can put your entire art vision into that game. But also you have to be legal independent. Meaning you can create, you can get funded by, for instance, crowdfunding, and you don't have to worry about a big corporation telling you you have to go this and this way. And usually the ones who are legal independent but not creative independent are the contract workers, because they can't even decide what they want to do. They have to go for what they get on the paper for the contract, right? So they get paid for that, but they're legal independent because they can choose the project. And our real indies that we call indies, they are creative independent and legal independent. So they can pick. They can live the freedom. From that definition, let's have a look on this. Let's say you are legal and creative independent, you are a developer, you want to create your game, you have your art and your vision, you know exactly what you're doing, you know how to produce your game, but then this is the creative talent here on this image. The creative talent means you have the know-how to do your game, and you have a great creative style and art and the vision behind it. But if you don't know how to do business and how to promote it, how to do marketing, you are either a failing game dev or you are lucky. A starving game dev, this is how Jasmine Delarocque calls it. But if you know how to put that into place, and if you know how to do the business, or at least have the intent, you can become a successful game developer and create your own company. I mean, yes, create your company and become a successful game developer. But let's have a look, for instance, on those who don't have the creative talent, but they have the commercial intent. They usually copy other games. You see that in Asia a lot. And those who don't have the commercial intent and don't have the creative talent, they are usually lost and well, just want to be probably in the games industry but fail. So here's the message. You have to understand that business and marketing and promoting is important as well. And most game developers in our Central European region, they don't see that clearly. They are not aware that business and marketing is important as well. They usually just want to do a game, but doing a great game is not enough. Usually it's not enough. Sometimes you're lucky, okay, then you're lucky. Central Europe has a big advantage as well. We have so much diversity in our country. Did you know that our countries speak 29 languages and dialects? This is amazing. You have like so many cultures, so many countries, so many diverse people in that region, that this is our strength. Of course, the distance, it says the distance as well. Yes, because Bratislava, Vienna is just an hour from each other, and also other countries and cities are very close to each other. That's one of the advantages as well. But back to the diversity, especially in Central Europe, we have a lot of diversity. Do you know this game? Who knows this game? Yeah, not the Czech people. Yeah, please. What is it? From Amanita Design. They're based in Prague, in Czech Republic, like in Prague. Who knows Art Nouveau? See the embroidery on the top? He got this. He implemented, or he put this art style throughout his game because he was influenced by his history, by his city, and that is Art Nouveau Jugendstil. That's the period, and you see that all over Prague. It's super beautiful. You see the embroidery all over the buildings, and he actually put that into his game as well. There's more examples. Let's go, for instance, to the train stations. In Prague, you see that pattern all over the Prague train station, and he put that into his game as well. But those are like just few examples of Amanita's games, but of cultural diversity that he actually put in there. He put the Czech and the Prague feeling and into his game, and this made his game super unique. Like, for instance, the Czech animation film has its own style. there's more games that have that unique style. There's a lot of them, but I will just talk about some of them. But this should make, I'm just saying this to make you aware that the cultural diversity that we have in Central Europe, we have to live that and we have to be aware of that because there is so much diversity that is super unique. The Alps, we have an Austrian game that is Chasing Aurora, and of course Alps and Austria, you can combine that. Freedom, flying through the Alps, this is so Austrian, and they produced 3-4 games which plays in the Alps. Nothing's happening. You saw the trailer so many times already, right? Just without the sound while you were waiting. Let's go on. So it's not just the Alps and flying through the Alps and having that feeling of freedom. It's also the music that they put in there. It's made with this super old, typical Austrian instrument. It's called the zither. There should be a sound file as well. Nothing's happening. And they just modernized the style with that old instrument, very Austrian. So we had the Czech example, we had the Austrian example, and there are so many more examples, and you also know this one of mine. I don't even want to repeat what Maciej said earlier today, but they had the influence from all the Central and Eastern European countries from the wars, but of course such a story is also just possible, or the game that they developed is only possible to do in Poland because they put in the Polish art style of storytelling, the Polish storytelling style, and the art is also very Central and Eastern European. They really show this uniqueness in games. So this is what we have to do in Central Europe. Central Europe is overlooked and a very diverse, probably too diverse region, because we are so diverse. Sometimes we are lacking on inclusivity, but we can at least take advantage from a lot of those things, like the uniqueness through the diversity in our region. So this is the message. Share the stories and also share your stories and also produce unique games. And if you have something like that, a unique game, if you feel you have the talent and the professionalism, then you have to create your awareness and visibility for you as well. You have to start sharing your stories. So we offer this place, the Central European Games Conference, for instance. We offer the place to Central European developers to share their stories, their unique stories, and it's all about diversity. So if you have something to share, submit. There's the link. Summarize this. Central Europe is overlooked, but we have so much potential. Especially seeing that with all our associations that are popping out and working together, cooperating. The understanding that cooperation is super important. We have started with that, and it is super important that also the community understands this. Other than this, I think I'm on time.